Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Goes. My name's Andrew Dika, and today proud to be joined by the man himself. And if you don't mind me saying, I say the dark horse and one of the best prospects. He's beyond the prospect at this point, but people always want to label themselves. And I heard last time out on a boxer show, on the best kept secret in British boxing. I think you could be one of the most avoided men, and also one of the gold mines in British boxing right now. Elliot Whale, how you doing, my man?
That's a good introduction, that mate. Yeah, no, I'm doing good, thanks, mate. My last spar done. So now it's just the nitty gritty parts. You know what I mean? The making weight and getting ready for next week.
I love to hear that. So, I'm gonna go back. Last time I saw you, obviously it's over a year ago now, about 15 months
Yeah,
ago. Lloyd Germain won your Commonwealth silver title, and in spectacular
yeah,
fashion, three knockdowns, just not four. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you got the job done.
yeah. Three knockdowns, got the job done. Um, yeah, it's got decent performance. You know what I mean? I was quite happy with it, but uh, uh, I thought that might open a few doors, but it didn't really. It didn't really, to be honest. No one wanted to fight me. I couldn't defend the title, and I ended up getting stripped of the belt anyway. So it was a bit pointless even fighting for it. But yeah, nevertheless, we signed with Boxer. I had my first fight on the Ben Whitaker undercard in April. I had a good fight with Lucas Banningal. I got that job done on points, and now into probably the biggest fight of my life in December.
What did you think of your outing in April? And I'll ask you two questions here. So first of all, break down your performance in April. Obviously, a big step up. Obviously, to your eyes, you know you're the favorite. You know you're going there to win. To maybe the casuals or the commentators, as you're saying on the broadcast, maybe it seemed they didn't realize you were the boxer fighter and also what was going
Yeah.
on. But talk about the bout in April, and then talk about would you have preferred to have been out a few more times, whether it be prior to April or after April? Because to be out once in the last 12 months isn't really ideal for you.
No, of course not. I'd like to be out um, three times if possible. Do you know what I mean? Since my fight in September, there was loads of fights that was meant to be having, and I was in the gym for 8 months. You know what I mean? Fights falling through. I'd be making weight. Couple of weeks out, I'm not fighting no more. Go home for a week. Oh, do you want to fight this guy on this date? Yeah, all right. Back in the gym, just rinse and repeat. Really, that's what was happening. Uh, then they put me on the April show against Lucas, and then like we sort of knew we was fighting each other probably like 4 weeks to go. Like we was in talks, we say, to fight him. That's the fight that Ben wanted. So we was in talks with their team. Then the day it was meant to get announced, that he announced that he was fighting in Dabassi. That was about 3 weeks to go, and I just thought, "Fuck this! This is bullshit. Like it's gonna happen again, sort of thing." So obviously, I'm staying in the gym. I'm staying on it, as in I'm fighting, but my mental weren't really there. I done the weight a bit wrong. I was a bit lazy with my food just because I'd had enough, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like constantly being away from my kids and then making weight and then not even fighting. I'd done it fucking four times. You know what I mean? So uh, then that things got resolved. I ended up fighting Lucas, and I felt a little bit flat, to be fair, on the night. He was a good fighter. He tried to be a little bit of a spoiler. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like when I was a little bit flat, I probably let him spoil the fight a little bit too much. But definitely a fight that it felt close on the night. You know what I mean? I do believe I was the correct winner, but it felt quite close on the night. But then took me a couple of days. I watched it back, and when I watched it back, mind you can't really tell that I looked that flat. And I believe I was the comfortable winner in a good fight.
And talk about that. I know, so from April to now, it's about an 8 month period, but is it,
Yeah,
like I said at the start of the interview, you're being avoided? Is it down to the opposition? Is it down to, I know, promotion teams? 'Cause obviously, I know Boxer had all the things with Sky and the
yeah,
BBC, and you're one of the fighters that stayed there. But what
yes.
do you think it was? Do you think, because you're not a man to call other people out, but do you think it's that higher level didn't want to fight you, lower
Nah, of
level? What,
course
what
not.
is it?
No, I tell you what it is. I don't think it's the fighters. Yeah, I don't think it's the fighters because at the end of the day, we're fighters and we'd fight anyone. Do you know what I mean? That's through my eyes. You know what I mean? I can't speak on. That's what I'm just guessing. Other fighters are like me. Yeah, they'll fight anyone. I think what it is the teams of the fighters, the managers of the fighters, the trainers of the fighters. They don't think. the lower level kids, probably English level, they're not ready for me. That's what I personally think. The coaches don't think they're ready. There's easier fights out there to pick, and then obviously when you want to fight the bigger names of the division, obviously to try and get a British title, you've got to be made mandatory. Because I'm never going to be a voluntary pick, am I? The board aren't making me mandatory, and the bigger names probably want a bit too much money for what maybe Boxer are offering. You know what I mean? So it's like one of them ones.
And so let's go to it here. December 20th, nice
Yeah,
little run up before Christmas. Obviously, everyone's going to be spending their money on gifts, but I think it's going to be the best gift of them all to be spending your money on and get a ticket for.
yeah.
Blair Cobbs, Elliot, Whale, talk about it. 18-1, correct me if I'm wrong, versus your 11-0 or 12-0, is it now? Undefeated record? Because
12 and 0. 12 and 0.
every time I keep seeing you, I was like, oh, Elliot, oh, 8-0. And I see you outside at York, oh, it's 10-0 now. It just
Yeah,
keeps
yeah.
adding and adding.
It's slowly climbing up. It's slowly climbing up. Yeah, listen, it's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight, but obviously I can't get a meaningful fight in domestically. Do you know what I mean? So when this one come across to me, I've been saying I'll fight anyone. We had a little look, and we just said if we can get it for like a title, which I think they have got it for a title, it's just not announced yet. If you get it for a title, we'll have it because I feel like a win here puts me right up into the big stage. You know what I mean? He's a massive name. He's a good solid fighter. He's obviously his last couple of fights he's fought Adrian Broner, Maurice Hooker. He's dealt with them comfortably. I know they're obviously way past their prime, but he's obviously proven that he's at a certain level, fringe world level. So it's a tough fight, man. So I'm looking forward to it.
And have you seen much of him? I know he's got 50,000 followers. He's got a bit
Yeah.
of a name out there. But
Yes.
when you go into a gym, when you go into the ring, all your followers, all your flashy stuff, all your mimicking, like your Ben Whitaker style and your jokes and your flashy stuff, it goes out the ring. Unless he wants to bring that. Your two guys, do you read much into the one loss he has, or do you not look at it? Because he has bigger wins.
No, he has lost. We watched that fight. And yeah, you can take some things from that. But again, the fighter that he's fighting is a solid fighter. I think he's top 15 in the world. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, listen, he's just another man. You know what I mean? No one's unbeatable. We can all get beat. So you just got to go in there with that mindset. And obviously, he's a big personality and he's got a lot of bravado and he causes havoc like on the press. You know, like he's quite a entertaining sort of guy. Like he brings that sort of thing to it. Whereas we're different personalities. But you can't let that affect you. And he is just another fellow, and we're just gonna fight. You know what I mean?
And obviously, the one change since last time, Sky to the BBC. How does it feel? Prime
Yes.
time, co-main event. You've got your
Yeah.
spotlight. You've got your stardom. I think is
Yeah.
this your final breakout fight? You probably have had. I wouldn't say bigger fights, but you've had big names in the past. You've had big
Yeah.
opportunities. But
Yeah.
do you think this is a time to show not only to the British public who Elliot Whale is, but even to the worldwide scene, fighting in
Yeah,
America?
course. Listen. I've had the hard step ups. I've had the hard fights. I fought Darren Tetley on a small hall show, and I feel like if that was on TV, I'd have blew up from that one. Because after the nice words that he said after, you know what I mean. I think that would have got a lot of people talking. Unfortunately, it was just on the YouTube. So that's that. I've obviously fought a solid fighter on a Wasserman show from Spain, Lucas Banningal. Yeah, I've had my tough fights that I believe should have took my career in a different in a bigger trajectory. Like, but for some reason it hasn't. It's probably just shot myself in the foot more so to get fights. But that being said, being co-main event on BBC against Blair Cobbs, who's a massive name, this is why I thought it's a great fight for me. It's the perfect fight for my career because he's going to attract a lot of eyes. Um, Obviously, he's a big name in America. You go and do a job on him, then hopefully the world will see how good I am. You know what I mean?
And you get your US debut as well, and you get their
Yeah,
fans.
that'd be nice.
It would be. And do you think, obviously, you probably are aware of it going into it? If he does try to bring the American swagger, the American trash talk, he's just going to shut it down, or you're going to have a back and forth.
Listen, I've never been in the position where someone's ever like disrespected me or I feel like I come across. I'm just myself. I'm quite humble, chilled out sort of guy. I don't really disrespect no one. So whenever I've come head to head with fighters, it's always been quite a mutual respect there. You know what I mean? not really had. Obviously, he's from a different country. That's his way. If he does it, he does it. You know what I mean? That's how he's trying to. They try and win the fight before the fight even happens with words. You know what I mean? But you can't beat Elliot Well with words, man. You've got to be a special fighter.
And that's what I say as well. When I see Elliot Well, I believe the Darren Tetley fight was the first time I got introduced to you. If not one time before, I must have seen one of your fights. But yeah, like I said, seeing that live, that definitely deserves to be on TV because that was two big names that should have been
Yeah,
on the TV show. And like I said, every time even I see you at a Wasserman, I see you at a big fight, you stand out to the rest of the card. And
yeah,
would you say, albeit apart from the main event, and I know co-main event, you probably got prime time, 8, 9 p.m. If you think
yeah.
no disrespect to the main event because the main event is a main event, but do you think this is a fight on the card that everyone's got to look out for?
I do believe it could steal the show. You know what I mean? Obviously, listen, Callum Simpson, he's got a massive fan base. So he's sold the place out, man. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that we're going to be the bigger fight or things like that, but I do feel like it's a wicked co-main event for the card. Do you know what I mean? It's a real good fight. You got two fighters that love the KOs. You know what I mean? We both can bang for the weight. We both can fight. So it's a good fight for the fans.
And do you reckon you stop Blair Cobbs or knock him out?
I feel like I've got the power to knock anyone out at 147, to be honest. You know what I mean? Obviously, uh, from my last fight, I'd stopped everyone since I come back to boxing. And from my last fight, like I said, I was a little bit flat. Um, so who knows if I was a bit fresher, I may be glad to get Lucas out there. I do truly believe that I've got the power to stop anyone at that weight. But I'm not just a punching power man. You know what I mean? I can box as well. So I'm not too bothered. I just want to win this fight because I feel like it's setting up for a massive 2026.
And do you have a kind of idea, WBA, international, what title is actually on the line or yet to be announced?
And yet to be announced. I think there's a couple like ones it could be, but we'll just wait and see what comes up from it.
And last two questions, just so I let you go. I know I'm not gonna spring the names because I don't want to start anything, and I know you're a respectful guy as well. But what is your opinion on the 147 division? Obviously, we go to the bigger names. We'll go such as Conor Benn. Obviously, we saw last week on the BBC or the week prior, Joel Kadua, English champion. You got a few names, but
Yeah.
looking around your level and above, what's your opinion on the 147 division, and what do you think could be next? God willing, you get past the American.
Yeah. I think domestically it's actually hard. It's a decent division. Domestically, there's some good fights there. Uh, some real good fighters. You've obviously got the ones that are coming up from English level. They're on their thing, trying to come up. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm a little bit past that. I feel like I'm more in the British level, like the top end of the British rankings. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a decent domestic thingy. I think the world stage is a little not as good as what it once was.
Yeah.
I think it's there for the taking. To be fair, like the world champions, they're good, solid fighters, but they're not like the fighters that was about when you had like Floyd Mayweather, Terence Crawford, not even Terence Crawford, like your Danny Garcia's, your Keith Thurman's, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Paul. You know what I mean? There was loads. That was a real tough division, but I feel like it sort of fell off at the world stage at the minute, but. It won't take long to be back.
Because then again, obviously, you've got Henry Turner coming up from super lightweight to welterweight. Like you said, domestically, you've got the boys coming up, and then you've got the kind of, I wouldn't call them old generation, but the ones that have been there. And like you said, I kind of been apart from British level, the world stage, one or two fights away, and it's pretty much wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I do think. Listen, obviously they're tough fights because they're tough fights anyway when you get to them sort of positions. But it's not like you're coming up against a Marcus Mandano or you know what I mean. It's when you
Yeah.
look at the champions now, it's not them sort of. I don't feel like it's that sort of level. So I do think it's a little bit. Don't. It's not disrespecting them. I just feel like at the world stage, it's a little bit weaker than what it has been. But they're still solid fighters. You know what I mean?
And did you see Conor Walker's fight the other night?
I did. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. To be fair, I thought he fought a really good fight. A lot of people writ him off, but I sparred Connor for the Harry Scarf fight when he fought Harry Scarf. I sparred him once. We done, I think, 6 rounds. When I watched the fight, he was obviously losing every round, and then he just pulled out the bag. And he's one of them that don't give up. He's tried and tested. He's lost. He's had defeats and come back. And do you know what? I feel like he deserves everything that's coming his way. You know what I mean? So good luck to him.
And then let's go on to that one. Just before I let you go, I know this is probably controversial. I know it doesn't involve you. Maybe one day you can have a mega fight and you'll have your own documentary on Netflix and fight on Netflix. But we see what Jake Paul's doing with all the women. But
Yes.
what do you feel about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua? And talk about as a purist aspect, and then obviously as a boxer yourself, because all
Yeah.
everyone has their true factors where the purest thing, everyone that works 10 years in a gym, 20 years, who's been there since amateur, they won't get that one show. Or like you said, you work your whole life. You're granted and grateful. You don't take it for granted, and you are at this stage because you've worked your ass off, pardon my French, to be
Yeah.
where you are. But then these other people that will say, and you'll have your older boxing generation and critics. So it's less for me to say, but obviously to the old school, it's like what grants them. It's what sells at the end of the day. If it gets 100 million
Yeah.
eyes on
Cool.
Netflix, it does. What is your opinion on Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua? And does it tarnish AJ's career? Because it's not like the Mike Tyson fight where he's 57 years old. But does it tarnish AJ's career? Because as they said online, I believe it's going to be the most paid eight
Yeah.
rounder in history.
One who gets put in that position and offered the money that he's going to get earned to fight a YouTuber is going to do it. Yeah. So that I make him right for taking the fight. I think Jake Paul's nuts. I don't think he should take the fight. To be honest, it's mad because sometimes you think like I don't know, man. The board are so correct when it comes to your medicals and things like that. It's surprisingly how anyone's passed this off. Like a former two-time world champion, heavyweight world champion, who's not in his prime, but he's still there. You know what I mean? To fight Jake Paul, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't. Oh, someone just tried ringing me.
No, that's all right.
Uh, yeah, no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? So I think for the money and things like that, great, good luck to him. You know what I mean? But health hurt. You know what I mean? So I'm not too sure. Not too sure it's worth it, mate.
Do you have a prediction on that one or no?
Yeah, Josh for a knockout, man. If it happens, he'll kill him.
Other than that, Elliot, just before I let you go, I want to ask you what's your one motivational message to the world for fans to block out the outside noise, block out the haters, block out the negativity, and follow and pursue their dreams?
Yeah, listen, just don't listen to anyone. There's always going to be naysayers on the way, you know what I mean? You just got to find something that you love and fully lock in and do your thing, you know what I mean? And you get there in the end. As long as you work hard and don't cheat the grind, you get there in the end.
And obviously, 2025, in your eyes, you've grinded, you've stayed in the gym, and that's what you do to get your opportunities. Would you say, if you sum it up as a year personally and outside of the ring as well as inside, is it one of the most frustrating years you've had in boxing? And what is 2026 to come?
Nah, no, that
It's not.
doesn't don't it's nowhere near the most frustrating. Listen, I've been out the ring for 18 months over some silly contracts and just bullshit, you know what I mean? So it's not the most frustrating. What annoys me the most is obviously I've made the move to the Midlands. Uh, Obviously, I've got two young kids at home. I only see them on the weekend. So when I'm doing camps and spending money and then fights fall through, that's what's annoying. But listen, it's not the most annoying year I've had in boxing, but it's up there. So hopefully end the year with a bang and then set myself up for a big 2026.
And have another title under the belt, wrap it around the Christmas tree, have it under the Christmas tree. What's your final message to your fans? Everyone that is going to tune in on the BBC and everyone that's bought their
Yeah.
tickets to be there on December 20th.
Yeah, well, obviously, I thank everyone who has got tickets and is getting tickets because it's so close to Christmas. You know what I mean? And it's miles away from home, so people coming up there, I do really appreciate it. Obviously, the people who can't make it but are tuning in, appreciate all kinds of support. So yeah, thanks a lot.
And can we get a final prediction, or is it just that Elliot will win by all means necessary?
Yeah, Elliot, well win, man. That's what I'm going for. Elliot, well win. Be nice to get the knockout, but I just want to win.
God bless Elliot. Take care, and hopefully see you after the win.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you.